Long time no
How are
see.
you?
You got
I
a
know it's been a
haircut,
while.
looking
I
fresh.
did. It's my new do. It's getting warm here in LA. So
It's so hot. But
dang.
yeah, I want to warn everybody again who's here now, who followed you in here. If you didn't see Mayans MC last night, there's going to be a lot of spoilers. It's
Right.
100%. There's no way that we can avoid them in this
Right.
conversation.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this live because yeah, serious
This is
spoilers.
this is your last call. Exit immediately because we're going to talk about Montez dying last night.
Yeah.
Jacob,
Yeah.
I'm
Montez
happy
met
to see your
the
face. You're
Reaper.
alive.
Yeah. Barely. But tell you, man, Montez has had. I mean, first of all, hey, Rosie, thank you so much for having me and
Of
for
course.
taking the time to talk and for supporting Latino entertainers and always being a champion for
Thank you, Jacob.
representation. So I really do admire what you
Always.
do.
Thank
So
you.
that said, you know, um, I'm really, Montez has had like 9 lives on this show. Kind of we talked before about SOA, and a lot of people don't know that Montez was supposed to die several times. In season 6 and in season 7, and for some reason I just got like saved. Uh, and then I really thought that Montez was gonna die at the end of season 2 on Mayans.
You know
Um,
that I thought that you were dead.
right.
I tried to give you 20 questions. I'm like,
I
Jacob,
remember.
that was Montez, right?
Right. But I got a call, and Elgin said he really didn't want Montez to go out like that. Montez is a brown brother, and so he really wanted to give him a little more backstory and just more story, and for him to go out and that his death is gonna set a chain of events that people just cannot come back from. So that's what's happening. It's gonna get crazier and crazier from here on out.
Yeah, in 303, there was a line in there somewhere about there being a war. So this has to lead to a war.
Yeah, like if you want to know what, because I can't talk about what happens in the next episodes, but if you really want to know, like really go back and listen to what Montez says. Everything that he says is very telling, and it's very poetic. So you kind of get a sense of what's to come.
Literally, what you're saying is true for like really every character, because every season I go back and I watch the previous ones, and I'm like, oh, that answer's right there, and I didn't know it. It's hiding
Yeah,
right there in your face.
yeah. I
So
think that's I remember seeing something when Elgin was talking about this new season, and he said, this is poetry, and he wants to really, um, um, tell this story that really kind of gets to the heart. And I feel like that's what he's doing with and this season is unlike the other 2 seasons. But there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. I love that it's really going into like these characters, and we get a sense of who they are, and going, they're not just dudes on motorcycles. They're human
mhm.
beings with struggles, and I think the more you learn about them and where they come from and where they live here, I think you either love them or hate them or follow them, or but it gives you a lot more context to grab onto.
Being that this is a true post-mortem,
Uh-huh.
I would love to tribute Montez a little bit more, and maybe go
Okay.
back to Sons of Anarchy. So this is one of the characters that we go look. I got my Sons of Anarchy and my
Yeah. All
little shelf
right.
back here. We don't have a
Awesome. I, I
Montez
got I got I got
Funko.
my cup back there. I don't know if
Oh,
you
I was
see
gonna
it.
ask you if you stole anything.
Yeah. Well, I said, hey man, I'm gonna die. Can I at least get my cut? So actually, I have the original one from SOA.
Oh, they're
and
different.
well, they're different because he became road captain after Jax Teller.
Oh yeah.
So this is years after, and then months after. So he graduated, and so he became the road captain. So he's got a new patch, and there's if you really look at the cut, there's a lot more going on. So yeah, so I got to keep both of them. So that's kind of cool.
Next time I meet up with you, I need to see it in person.
I'll wear it.
You
You
have
know, I
to.
wear it. Even if it's summertime, it's
That's
like 110. I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna rock it.
You have to. These guys are in the desert every day and they're rocking it.
Right.
So yeah, so I want to go back and kind of talk about when you first tried out for Montez, like, were you a fan of Sons of Anarchy? I mean, this is like an OG character. So talk to me a
Yeah.
little bit about him.
You know, I gotta be honest with you. I watched a few episodes, but my boy Emilio Rivera, I've known him forever. He's one of my great friends, and I know he was on the show, and so I would watch it for him. But didn't know a lot about it, and yeah, I mean, I remember just going in, and it was a really simple scene. Kind of coming back from like writing for a long time, and it was just like, hey, just can we swear? Can we not use bad language? I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
No,
well,
you
so
can. You can.
the cast director was saying, look, just talk, just you're coming off of a bike, it's a long ride, and you're just talking. So that's kind of what the audition was, and and then they asked me, 'cause I had longer hair, I grew out my beard, and they asked me if I rode a bike, and I was like, yeah, of course I do, and I've never been on like a Harley
Oh no!
before.
I think Jimmy Smith did that lie too.
Yeah, I think everybody does. As an actor, you always go, I don't, but I'll learn, and so, um, I got the gig, and they go, okay, well, you're going to be riding in the first, episode. I was like, I don't know how to ride a bike, so call
You
my
were
agent.
busted.
I go, hey man, listen, dude, I've ridden like dirt bikes before, but it's such a night and day. And so, they got me in touch with some great people at Glendale Harley, and I took like a crash course and learned, how to ride for the show. So it was, but it was tough, man, because the guys, I came in season 6 of
Mm-hmm.
on Sons of Anarchy, and so these guys were already, I've
Right.
been doing it for 6 years. They were already like a tight team. So now here's these new guys coming in, so they weren't making it easy. They're giving us a lot of shit because like I think I dropped my bike once, like I stalled out in a couple of the scenes, because they weren't new. These guys have been doing it forever. So it was, there was a lot of hazing,
Shout out to
to say
Fluffy
the least.
who joined us in the chat and says
Oh, what up? What up,
he really likes
Fluffy?
your haircut.
Oh,
See?
nice, man.
It wasn't just the only
Fluff,
one. There's been people here too. Whose house you at? I don't see tiger blankets.
they're in the closet. Oh, I got one. I got a big. We got a giant pink one with horses. So you know. So we're still keeping it real. Don't worry.
Fluffy's airing out your blankets.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so
I miss that guy.
so at what point did you find out about them being interested in bringing Montez back for Mayans?
I remember going to the party. I think it was the.
Oh, I saw you at that party. It was
Yeah, I
season
remember.
two,
Yeah. I
season
don't know.
two premiere, and I
Was it
said,
was it a rap
Jacob,
party
why
for?
are you here? Are you coming
Yeah,
back?
right. Yeah, I don't know if it was a rap party for SOA or a premiere party for the Mayans. I don't
It was
remember.
premiere for
Premiere for
Mayans,
the Mayans, and
and
some of
Fluffy was there too.
Fluffy was there. Yeah, it's like a beach theme. I forget what it
Yes,
was.
I was there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so I was talking to a few of the writers, and we were kind of just shooting the shit. And they said, hey, did you keep your cut from the show? And I go, yeah, I kept my cut. And they go, well, hang on to it because you might need it. So that was like the first indication. But you never know. People kind of throw it all the time. But then it was nice to hear, hey, they want to bring you back for an episode, and I love that my girl Allison Anders, directed that episode as well. So, and then they were giving Montez a little bit more story. So that was, and you just kind of knew, it's kind of telling, like he sets up this this meeting, and the malditos take over the gun trade, and so you knew something was going on. I was like, okay, Montez is getting set up to go down. Something's up.
We'll talk a little about that because he was kind of looking for trouble by double dipping.
He was double dipping, you know. Well, and I love one of the episodes over, you know, it was called Overreaching Don't Pay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so telling about I guess for all these characters, you know, they're all overreaching, they're all kind of stepping over you know, their bounds, and so yeah, I just think, you know, he was ambitious, man. He wanted, you know, he wanted a bit more than and um and he paid the price.
I mean, he wasn't even worried. I mean, we already know his cousin is like buried in the desert somewhere.
Right.
Like that didn't even make him take heed. And I'll tell you, when I'm like, Montez knows better than to turn his back on somebody like freaking Palo. What was he thinking?
Well, you know, but remember, they're friends, and I think, you know, they go back and they have some mystery. So I, you know, I think he just didn't want Paulo to see that he had some cash on him.
Right.
You know, it's that one quick mistake that you know, that he made, that he paid heavily for. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's you know, he wanted a bit more, man, and again, I think, you know, he paid the price. I don't know, man. You know, I'm really curious to see where this goes.
You want to see Montez
Yeah.
avenged, don't you?
I do. Good, because now you can't hide it. You know, in one of the lines that I have, you know, about Tommy, my cousin, you know, they just think that he's out bad somewhere. You know, so they don't know that that his son is dead. You know, only the Mayans know that, and follow. So now with Montez gone, there's going to be questions. You
Well,
know,
the bodies are piling up.
right. You know, so when your road captain goes up missing, it's going to go down.
And I have to imagine, with as sneaky as Palo is, like people don't even know where he's at. Like he's got to have plans for that body.
Yeah, you'll see.
Um,
See, I can't. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff that happens that you know. Yeah, so Paulo does. Yeah, there's some interesting things that happen with Montez's body.
so I've seen the next episode, and I'm obviously not allowed to give anything away. But here's like a little tiny thing that I'm going to say is that we do see you again.
Yes.
Like you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's always interesting when they give you the call. You know, they go, "Hey, would you mind? I know you're dead, but can you come back?" You know.
But it's not you, really, is it? I
Yeah.
figured they made like a doll.
No, it's really me. Yeah.
In that opening scene, that's you.
Well, okay, well, you can't talk about it.
I'm going.
You can't say,
Listen, you're dead.
okay,
I can't post-mortem you again next week. So I'm just
we can only talk about, yeah, no, that was me. And I had no idea that was going to happen that way. So
Wow.
it was a crazy, freaky day for me. Yeah. Because, you know, you think, okay, I'm just going to be like laying there. And no, they had other plans. Elgin had other interesting plans for Montez's body.
Yeah, no, that's why I was curious, because I'm like, wait, I thought it was a doll. So I was gonna say, how cool was it? Like, did you sit for like somebody to sculpt? That's actually you. Okay.
That's really me. Yeah. You know, the things actors do.
But it's gotta be super fun. I wish that like it was my dream to be like murdered by Dexter. Like I wanted to be like
Uh,
fastened on the table. And now that they're coming back, I'm like, oh my God, could I volunteer to be a dead body on Dexter? So I
yeah.
mean,
Well, see, it sounds fun until you're in it. Because I thought, oh, this is cool. Montez, you know, how beautiful was that? Like, it was such a poetic, you know, the way they shot Montez's death, you know, and the Paulo Montez moment, you know, with this like cool warehouse with like, you know, lights shining through. It looked very like angelic. And I thought, okay, cool. He gets like suffocated with the plastic bag. When you're shooting it, you know, and they really have to like suffocate you. You know,
stop it.
so we had to come up with like, okay, listen, let's have some safe words. You know, like if something happens, you know, and as an actor, you really want to just okay, let's just commit. Let's just commit until I can't really like breathe anymore. But you don't realize how quickly you run out of breath. You know, and Gregory's like squeezing this thing on my head, you know, and I'm struggling, and I'm like, oh, I'm really like can't breathe. but you can't ruin the shot, you know. So as an
Like you're
actor, you go,
thinking, Montez, poke a
you,
hole in the
but
mouth
you go
part of
like,
the thing.
yeah, but he had me like really, really like tight, you know, so I couldn't move anything. And you know, so you go, okay, as an actor, you go, okay, I got to commit and go as far as I can, but then you go, shit, I don't want to like really suffocate myself. So those are always like crazy, you know, challenging moments. So I said, so it sounds fun. It sounds fun until you're in it.
yeah, but that's like television history to me, like something that not a lot of people get to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's so in these types of shows, I just feel like it would be so cool to be that dead body because it's like you're the, you know, you're forever like one of
Yeah,
the
you know,
bodies.
yeah, like in you know, in the world of Sons of Anarchy and Mayans, that was always a cool thing. It's like if your character has to go out, you want to go out in a cool way, you know. And so that's why I was hoping like, oh, I don't want Montez to go out just like, hey, he's dead, he's on the floor at a party.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's a crappy way to go, man. Come on, so give him a nice send off. So I was really like thankful to Elgin that you know he really felt that Montez needed a bit more, and he, you know, if he's gonna go out to make it count, you know, and to really like you know set everything off. So that's kind of cool.
Well, like again, I like what's coming up even more than I like the actual death. Like it was just so
Uh,
cool. So everybody who's fans of, you know, Jacob and the character of Montez, there's still a little bit more coming in next episode.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of people in the comments want to talk about Selena. You want to talk about
Selena,
Selena?
talk about Road Dogs. Talk about Selena. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys want to know about Selena? It's been like what 25 years. You know, that was an amazing experience, man. I can't. You know, we were young, bunch of young actors out in Texas. You know, kind of living our dream. You know, like I got a sense of what it felt like to be like a musician. You know, performing in front of you know thousands of people in an arena. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was amazing, and I'm just happy that we you know did her memory justice, and you know this movie still is still relevant 25 years later. People still you know watch it. I try, it. I'm driving down the street and I hear anything for Salinas, you know,
That's what they were
all the
saying in the
time,
comments.
all the time. I mean, but it's crazy that that's become part of like you know the our English lexicon. It's great.
There's questions of whether or not you watched the series that's on Netflix.
If I watch the series, I did watch it. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool. What I loved about the series, you know, and I always felt because AB and Suzette were such a big part of that, you know, and it was hard to tell their story. In you know, I think our movie was like 2 hours. Uh, you know, it's hard to encompass a life in 2 hours, and so I felt you know a lot of AB and Suzette's stories got cut. You know, I know some of the great scenes that we shot with you know with an AB storyline got cut from the film. I feel they're very important. So I love that the fact that they're really, you know, exploring that and showing you the contribution of her brother and her sister. You know, so it gives them a you know a chance to shine as well.
Yeah, I love the part where Suzette was inspiring these young
I love
women to
that.
become drummers,
Yeah,
right? I'm like,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
what
it's a
we need
beautiful
to
scene. I
see.
cried. It was a beautiful scene. Yeah,
Yeah,
when,
that
she
was one of
gives
my
her
favorite scenes.
gives her the drumsticks. I mean, I thought that was great.
Well, just to see Suzette, she's thinking, oh, like, you know, oh, Selena will be ready in a minute. Oh, no, no, I want to be a
Yeah,
drummer. And it's just like, I love people women who have careers that are like mostly male dominated. So to see
right.
like how she influenced, especially like our people to, you know, to think outside the box and to follow
Right.
their dreams. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. Because you know, because the series left off,
Yeah.
you know, she hadn't really come into her own yet. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the rest of the story.
Okay. Really quick, I've seen a couple of people mention Mr. Iglesias. I'm so
Yes.
sad. I'm so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. I don't know if people. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Netflix decided that they're not going to pick up the show for another season. So you know, we were all really like upset and you know, bummed out.
It's
But you
such
know,
a
but
cute show.
you know, I think so too, and I would have loved to have seen the kids graduate and kind of see at least have one more season to wrap things up. But you know, but I'm thankful that we're able to do 2 seasons and really like bring, you know, a lot of like happiness and joy to people, especially during the pandemic. You know, when people were home and they were able to bring like some nice you know, wholesome fun to people. And yeah.
Maybe we can have like a made for TV movie so we can
Maybe
wrap
yeah, yeah, right, yeah.
so we
No,
could
you know
wrap
what?
things
There
up,
you
right?
go. There you go. I'm sure, you know,
We need
hopefully,
everybody here asking about the show to start a campaign for that.
you know, and I mean, I'm sure like Gabe's got ideas. So, you know, I mean, I think it'll be great, but I don't think it's the last time that we're gonna work together. So, you know, I'm sure we got some good stuff coming
Well,
up.
it's just so awesome to see you in so many different roles. You have such versatility. Is there anything left that you maybe have not portrayed that you want to portray?
You know, I would love to get onto one of these superhero shows
Ah,
or a movie. I think that'd be
yes.
cool, man. We haven't seen anything like that yet. Like right now, I'm playing with this. You know, I'm starting a new project. I started yesterday. I'm doing a movie with Steven Soderbergh, who you know I work with on Traffic.
No big
We're doing
deal.
this really
No big
cool movie
deal.
called Kim. Yeah, but the Kimmy's like this really cool, interesting project again that I can't talk about too much. But you know, it's definitely a cool, different character, something that I haven't played. So I'm excited about that.
I saw in one of the comments somebody wants to know what does it feel like for you to be a Latino actor who is paving the way for for young Hollywood.
Wow. You know, it's funny. You don't see yourself as a trendsetter or somebody that's paving the way. I mean,
But
I
you
just,
are.
well, thank you for that. But I just see myself as a working actor. You know, I'm very fortunate. I love what I do, and I feel like you know I'm lucky to do what I do. And it's a great creative outlet, man. I love, you know, diving into a different character and really like exploring, you know, like, you know, human nature and what, you know, where this person is living. Um, so, and if people, you know, enjoy that or it's makes that even better.
Are there any roles that you really wanted that you didn't get?
Yeah, I don't think people realize like for every role that I get, there's probably 80 that I didn't get, you know? So you hear, as an actor, you hear more no's than yes. So yeah, there's a lot of roles that you know that I didn't get. I wanted every role that I read for. Um,
Okay, well, give me examples.
let's see. You know, I honestly really I kind of tend to not like think in the past. You know, like I honestly I try not to go there and say man, I wish I would have gotten that. Once I don't get it, honestly, I just kind of move forward. But
Okay.
honestly, I can't really think of something off the top of my head right now, to be honest with you.
That's okay. That's all good.
Yeah, that good.
I'm just here trying to get the scoop.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Before I let you go, what are your hopes for the rest of the season of Mayans MC? What do you want to see?
I mean, I would love to see like a full out like SOA Mayans war.
No.
Yeah, yeah, because that's gonna be like a bloodbath. And you know, in if you watch, you know, SOA, you know that you know they've never been afraid of killing off main characters. You know, and that's
For sure.
always the hard part for fans to deal with. But I think that's what makes these shows so great. So I think you're going to start to see, you know, some people, and I believe that that's why they're creating so much story, so you can get us, so you can feel for these characters and you can relate to them, and you have a lot of invested in these characters. So once they have to meet the Reaper, it's hard. It's gonna hit hard. It's gonna be a gut punch.
So what you're saying is that Elgin James is out there purposely breaking our hearts, because I'm literally afraid for everyone this season.
Right. Yeah, but I think that's you know where you see the skill that they're able to, you know, to have you feel for these characters. You know, because I feel like in the first two seasons, you know you kind of knew that they were the Mayans and they were, you know, a tough motorcycle club, but I didn't get to know who they were. You know, so now you're really getting a sense of who they are, and you know, and I love seeing the home life too. You know, I
Me
love,
too.
I've seen Alvarez living in the suburbs, and you know, with I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend, but
That's his
um,
wife.
this is why, okay. And you see, like,
Uh-huh.
you know, every, you know, Bishop is going through. I realized that he lost a son, so that, you know, so you understand where he's coming from. He's like, he's damaged and he's hurt, and so, you know, when hurt people, you know, they go out and they want to hurt other people, and so they lash out. So, you know, there's a lot going on with all these characters, and you know, Taz's past is going to come back to you know, to bite him in the ass. So, you know, so there's a lot. I feel like if you really listen to what they're saying, sometimes they say it, you know, it's such a quick thing that they say that you don't catch, but it's so telling. You go, oh, okay. If you really listen to what Taz has said in this scene, it's going to really explain what happens, you know, in the next few episodes.
And
It's going to be crazy.
but speaking of Taza, we will have Raul on our next one next
Oh,
week.
nice. Love Ro.
I know, I'm like, we have them all like ready for, you know, for the next week. So we'll have Raul joining us next Wednesday at 4
Okay.
p.m. Pacific to break down what's going on Mayans
Oh,
MC.
so he could talk about the scene that you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
That's a good.
yeah.
Yes,
So
that's a
yeah,
good idea.
because that was it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a
But that
crazy
made me
scene.
really nervous. Okay, don't get me talking about this, because
Okay.
that made me very nervous, just because he's already like on hot water. But maybe, I mean, well, okay, sorry, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Right, because we can only talk about, you know, episodes 1 through 4, and the rest of them are really good. There's some really good stuff in the pipeline.
But yeah, so everybody needs to tune in next week. We'll be chatting with Raul about the events in 305. The best number,
Okay.
Miami Girl 305.
A 305. All right, all right.
Me and Danny Pino, we're from Miami, so we're like 305 is the best number ever. But Jacob, thank you so much for joining me
Oh
today.
wow,
I'm really
that
sad
went
to
pretty
lose
fast.
you. I mean, we can stay and
Well,
keep talking if you want. But
right, yeah, but yeah, no, man, it's I, you know, I just want to thank all the fans for supporting and watching, and you know, I love to hear what you have to say about the episode. You know, so hit me up on my Instagram. Let me know.
plug yourself. Plug yourself.
Yeah, okay. Jacob Vargas on Instagram.
It's not the
It's
Jacob Vargas.
it's just Jacob Vargas. It used to
Oh,
be the Jacob Vargas,
I think it's on
but it was
Twitter.
confusing. It was good. Yeah, it's confusing because I would tell people it's the Jacob Vargas. They go, oh, duh, like DU, like they some reason, duh, you know,
Okay.
they couldn't figure it out, or you know, and then I said it was the, but then they said what's THEE, or it's kind of confusing. So it's just Jacob Vargas. Jacob Vargas on Instagram.
Very
Yeah,
simple.
very simple.
Also, for any fans that want to know more about the future of Sam Crow on Mayans MC, I have an exclusive interview with Elgin James that's up on
Oh, nice.
EW.com. Mayans MC, yeah, for sure. We have, what was I going to say? Mayans MC airs Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. on FX, and then you can watch it on repeat 24 hours later on FX on Hulu. Jacob Vargas,
Yeah.
you're the
Or if you have FX now, you can watch it like early. You can watch like the I think like the New York feed or something. So you can watch
Really?
it like, yeah.
I had no idea. That's a
No,
really good trick.
yeah, I think so. Is it? Or maybe we just watch a bootleg. I don't know. Figure it out. I'm just joking.
No, that's a good tip,
Yeah.
because over here on the West Coast, we're sitting here like waiting.
Right.
But
Right. Yeah. It takes a while.
any parting words?
No, I just hey, this has been fun. This is my first like live that I've
For
done, so
real?
this is really cool. Yeah,
I popped your live
yeah.
cherry. I'm
I
honored,
was,
Jacob.
yes, you took it from me. We'll always have the entertainment live, Rosie.
We'll always have it. It lives forever. The internet's forever.
Right?
Yeah, everyone's just saying congratulations. You're the bomb.com.
Oh, well,
People
that's
want to know
cool.
your
Yeah.
skin routine. I think that's
My
really
skin.
Latino.
You know what? You know what's crazy? My skin routine. And I learned this. I'll tell you, this is what I do. And I learned it from Selma Hayek. It's a Selma Hayek because she looks great for her age, right?
She
And
looks
so
great for any age.
but she's older than me, but she looks amazing. And I remember reading that she said that she doesn't wash her face in the morning, that she washes her face at night, right? And then in the morning you just splash water, but you don't wash your face because you're washing off all like the new skin that that grew that regenerated overnight. And so
I had no idea.
so I stopped washing my face in the morning. I just splashed some water on, and it's been great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
complimenting it. Fluffy's over here making fun of my cup. He says this is so Mexican.
uh,
Somebody sent this to me. They're like from anthropology, and I'm not Mexican, but I'll definitely take the
oh,
compliment.
they're very like cool and vintage. I love those
Right? That's
glasses.
what I liked about
Yeah,
it. Fluffy's over
it's like
here just
it's
busting
like
my
very mid-century. But I remember having those as a kid, but they
my
were all like
chops.
different colors though. They didn't match.
Oh yeah, I think that the set that the anthropology sells is like different colors. But whoever sent me like some media gift, it was like the two yellow ones. But I was like, oh,
Okay.
I want more. And then I looked it up, and it's like a set with different colors.
Well, different color. Yeah. Okay. So see, so it's funny because like something we did as kids, just being poor, is cool and hip now. It's called bohemian chic.
Oh
So we just called it being broke in the hood.
yeah, everyone's doing the butter tub.
Right.
I'm like
The menudo and the big
anything.
crock
It's always a
crock
surprise what's in there.
the
But
hickory crock
the one thing that it never is butter.
is never butter.
But other than
No.
that, for us, I'm half Cuban. It was almost always black beans.
Black beans, okay. See, with us, it's always manteca. It was always lard. It's always like
Oh yeah,
you know,
lard too.
yeah, the lard that was made. They use it. So then my mom used it to cook like frijoles and eggs and whatever. But it was always in that thing. So you go to butter your toast. It's like, oh, it's
I
manteca.
think you said butter your toes.
Butter your toast.
That just made me laugh really hard. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ew. Oh my God. Somebody just wrote something weird. Okay, we will not ask that question. But oh, somebody from your San Fernando High Class 88 is saying
Oh
what's up.
yeah. What's up? Tigers. Proud to be a tiger. What's a tiger? Always a tiger.
Rawr. All right, you
Yeah.
guys. We gotta let Jacob go. He's gotta go do superstar things.
I gotta go. I gotta do superstar things. Well, Rosie,
You,
it's been awesome. It's been awesome hanging out with you.
oh,
We should do
same
it
here.
again for something else. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
like
the next time I die in a show, I'll talk to you.
that's amazing.
Okay.
I'm here to postmortem all your bodies. But
There you go.
listen, aquí estás en tu casa. Just let me know, and we'll always love for you, Jacob. Always.
Thank you, Rosie. Appreciate it.
Speak a
All
little
right.
Spanish. I just spoke Spanish. Y'all were wanting Jacob to speak Spanish?
¿Qué?
Despídete en español.
Bien, pues muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí con nosotros y pues que tengan un buen día y hasta luego. Chao.
Hey!
All right.
Bye, guys!
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye! Bye, Jacob!